I found this meat grinder at a garage sale and thought the front of it was pretty cool. It was just kind of rusty and grimy, and I wanted to see if I can make this thing look a little better and be a little bit more useful. As I started taking it apart, I came to realize that this piece wasn't even part of it. Also, if you look at the holes on the front, you'll notice how close they are to the side of the outlet, which will cause me troubles later on, as you will see. Taking a look at this handle, you can see it's well worn. I'll have to glue the edging here back in place. But first, let's go ahead and clean this up. As you may have seen in some of my other videos, my favorite deruster is vinegar, but this time I thought I'd give citric acid a shot. Spoiler alert, it's not as obvious that it's doing something as vinegar, but it seems a little bit more gentle. So if you have something that's more delicate, maybe this is the right option for you. You can see bubbles on the edges as the citric acid reacts with rust. After a few hours, you can see the difference in the areas that were and were not submerged. After taking them out, let's go ahead and remove anything that was loosened by the citric acid. This is where I thought maybe I should have used vinegar, but we're still getting some good bits. At this point, I didn't know if I was going to paint the metal or just have it remain plain. But there's something so satisfying about taking grinding metal and making it shiny. From past experience, vinegar does do a better job at removing a lot of this stuff. So I kind of wish I had used it. But, you know, you live and you learn. And I got to use my Dremel for the first time, so that was pretty cool too. And here's what the discs look like before and after using the Dremel to clean them up. What a change. I'll spare you from having to watch me file each one, but look at the difference in the holes before and after using the needle file. Okay, now on to painting. I decided to paint the surface because I wanted to lessen the likelihood of rust as much as possible. I used a spray paint that was both a paint and primer for the base coat. This stuff seems to stick very hard to surfaces, so it's ideal for something that will come in contact with water. Plus, admittedly, this stuff is not something that I anticipate having to use to paint anything else. The top coat color I decided would be silver because I just like the look of silver appliances. However, you can go wrong with a little bit of accent red. The last little bit before assembly is the handle. I sanded it in hopes to have the stain penetrate equally across the entire surface. It was surprisingly difficult to sand this. I chose a stain very similar to the one in place prior. But I love how it turned out. This is me deluding myself that I'm not going to get it all over my fingers. Okay, I started accepting it's going to happen. Now that the handle has dried, we can put it all together. Here you can see the inside where I did not put anything. It looks loads better than it did before. Now, if only I had stopped here and not tried to use it. But I couldn't help myself. I took some meat and put it in the freezer for a few hours. I've always heard that frozen meat goes better through meat grinders, but let me know if you've had different experiences. Remember earlier when I said that the placement of the holes on the meat grinder would cause issues? Let me show you what that looks like. It wasn't until this moment that I realized that, oh, maybe I should have used food safe paint on the, well, everything. And it didn't get any better as more meat went through. I have a different meat grinder that has a blade on the inside of the plate that cuts the meat as it goes through. Let me know if you have a similarly designed meat grinder to the one I used today, and know if I'm missing any parts. While this may have ended up being a what not to do video, I'm glad to see you joined me this far. Have a good one.